Throughout the American Civil War, the forces of the Confederacy faced substantial difficulties in securing resources and manufacturing arms, which necessitated dependence on both foreign imports and domestic inventions to supply their soldiers. Despite these considerable constraints, Confederate forces nevertheless employed a range of effective and novel weapons that were critical to their military engagements. This video will explore some of the most significant arms utilized by the Confederate Army. The Enfield pattern 1853 rifle musket stood as one of the most widely used long arms within the Confederate forces throughout the Civil War. Imported from Great Britain, the .577 caliber Enfield P-High 1853 was a percussion lock weapon and ranked as the second most common firearm of the entire war, following only the Union's Springfield model 1861. Owing to the South's constrained industrial capacity for manufacturing its own arms, the Confederate military leaned heavily on imported weapons such as the Enfield. A primary benefit of the Enfield rifle was its long-range precision, capable of engaging targets effectively at distances beyond 500 meters. Its ammunition, a Minié-style projectile, permitted reasonably swift reloading and imparted greater force and penetration. If you appreciate our historical content, we'd be grateful for your support. Please like and subscribe to help us continue sharing these stories. These characteristics made the Enfield a superior option for Confederate sharpshooters and line infantry in open-field battles. The weapon was a muzzle-loading design, utilizing gunpowder and a Minié ball ignited by a percussion cap, which was the contemporary standard for military firearms. The Enfield pattern 1853 saw heavy use in major conflicts, including the Battle of Gettysburg and the Battle of Antietam, where its extended range and accuracy helped counterbalance the frequent numerical superiority of Union troops. Although an imported arm, not produced domestically in the South, the Enfield pattern 1853 rifle fulfilled an essential function within the Confederate ordnance, helping to alleviate armament shortages and furnishing Southern troops with a dependable and potent instrument for battle. The Lamont revolver constituted a particularly distinctive and advanced sidearm employed predominantly by the Confederate Army during the American Civil War. Designed by Dr. Jean-Alexandre Lamont, a French-born physician and innovator, the Lamont revolver was set apart from other contemporary weapons by its unique dual-barrel configuration. It incorporated a primary revolver barrel, which could discharge up to 9.42 caliber rounds, and a second, shorter smoothbore barrel positioned beneath it, which functioned as a compact .20 caliber shotgun, loaded with lead shot. This design rendered the Lamont an exceptionally deadly instrument for short-range fighting. While it was somewhat weighty and cumbersome compared to other sidearms, the Lamont offered a distinct tactical benefit for cavalry officers and soldiers who required a weapon that could serve as both a multi-shot revolver and a single-shot gun for immediate confrontations. The additional firepower of its shotgun barrel proved especially effective during ambushes or close-quarter combat, where the user could quickly alternate between the two barrels. The renowned Confederate cavalry commander, General J.E.B. Stuart, counted among the most notable users of the Lamont revolver, an association which helped to boost its notoriety amongst Southern troops. Although manufacturing of the Lamont was limited by its complex construction and the general scarcity of materials in the South, it nevertheless emerged as an icon of creativity and ingenuity within the Confederate arsenal. Merging formidable power, adaptable utility, and a highly unique form, the Lamont revolver ranks among the most remarkable arms of the Civil War, granting Confederate troops a distinct tactical edge in close quarters fighting despite its constrained production and somewhat unwieldy nature. Among the most notable firearms produced domestically for the Confederate Army was the Richmond carbine. Initially developed in Richmond, Virginia, at a Confederate armory established following the capture of the Harper's Ferry Armory in 1861, the carbine took its inspiration from the design of the Union's Model 1855 Springfield rifle. Its machinery, parts, and tooling were seized and repurposed by the Confederates to address their critical shortage of weapons. The Richmond carbine was primarily issued to Confederate cavalry and light infantry units, its shorter length making it considerably more practical for mobile warfare. This .58 caliber, muzzle-loading percussion arm was designed for anti-personnel use and shared ammunition compatibility with other standard firearms of the period. Its simplified construction, adapted loosely from the Springfield Model 1855, was a direct response to the Confederacy's urgent need for arms, a need exacerbated by severe resource shortages and limited industrial capability. While the Richmond carbine was less polished and manufactured to a lower standard than Union rifles like the Springfield Model 1861, it nevertheless fulfilled a vital function by supplying Confederate forces with a serviceable firearm available in respectable numbers. The carbine saw action in several pivotal battles, including the Battle of Gettysburg and the Battle of the Wilderness, where frequently outnumbered Confederate units required dependable weaponry to bolster their combat effectiveness. The Richmond carbine, despite the obstacles in its production and a chronic lack of resources, served as an important testament to the South's capacity for improvisation and its ability to produce effective arms, thus playing a key part in the Confederate war effort. It came to symbolize the resilience of Confederate forces who managed to equip their soldiers with a functional and efficient weapon, notwithstanding their profound material limitations. The Confederate cavalry saber was a standard-issue arm extensively employed by the mounted forces of the Confederate Army. Drawing design cues from European cavalry sabers and the Union's Model 1860 saber, the Confederate version was a close combat weapon, perfectly suited for the rapid assaults and skirmishes that defined cavalry operations. The typical Confederate saber featured a single curved blade, generally measuring between 86 and 91 centimeters, crafted from plain steel, and a grip wrapped in leather or made of metal, intended to be both sturdy and utilitarian. Its curved blade was optimized for slashing attacks from horseback, while its length afforded the rider sufficient reach to strike an enemy without necessitating dangerously close proximity. While the saber was a crucial sidearm, the South's limited industrial infrastructure meant that many Confederate sabers were inferior in quality to those produced in the North. Southern foundries frequently had to improvise with available materials, resulting in less durable blades, with rougher finishing that were prone to bending or breaking under prolonged combat conditions. This variability in quality, however, did not lessen its significance on the battlefield. Under the leadership of iconic figures like General J.E.B. Stuart, Confederate cavalry units wielded the saber in swift charges, flanking maneuvers, and reconnaissance operations. The combination of the saber with firearms, such as the Lamont revolver, afforded Confederate cavalrymen considerable versatility in battle, enabling them to transition seamlessly between long-range and hand-to-hand combat. Despite its inconsistent manufacture, the Confederate cavalry saber endured as a symbol of the daring and tenacious spirit that characterized the Southern horsemen. The Whitworth rifle was one of the most advanced and precise long-range arms deployed by Confederate forces during the American Civil War. Designed by British engineer Sir Joseph Whitworth in 1857, the rifle fundamentally transformed contemporary understandings of accuracy in ranged warfare and was extensively employed by Confederate marksmen to eliminate high-value targets on the battlefield. The Whitworth rifle's most distinctive characteristic was its hexagonal polygonal rifling and its correspondingly shaped projectile, which together conferred exceptional stability in flight. This innovative engineering meant the rifle could engage targets effectively at distances far exceeding those of standard infantry rifles. Where common rifles, such as the Enfield pattern 1853, had an effective range of approximately 500 meters, the Whitworth could accurately strike targets at distances of up to 1,800 meters. This peerless precision made it the weapon of choice for Confederate snipers, who routinely used the rifle to target Union officers and artillery crews during crucial engagements. Although an expensive and scarce weapon due to its need for importation from Britain, the Whitworth rifle nonetheless played a considerable role in numerous battles where Confederate sharpshooters armed with the Whitworth succeeded in inflicting heavy casualties on Union formations. A famous instance of the rifle's lethal effectiveness was its purported use in the killing of Union General John Sedgwick at the Battle of Spotsylvania from an extreme range. Notwithstanding its rarity and prohibitive cost, the Whitworth rifle stands as one of the earliest examples of a modern sniper weapon, highlighting the increasing strategic value of precision shooting in military engagements. Its influence extended well beyond the Civil War, cementing its status as a landmark achievement in the evolution of long-range firearms. These are some of the most iconic weapons that were utilized by Confederate soldiers.